Hello Year 11, welcome to revision week 8. This week we are looking at the difference between wired versus wireless networks. Okay, so can you find revision sheet 8 in your revision pack, please? Revision sheet 8. Once you do, continue the video. Okay. Right, so just a quick recap. Remember, we've looked at and revised different types of networks. LAN, local area networks, networks on a small geographical area. And we have looked at WANs, which are basically different LANs connected in different geographical locations. Main differences on a LAN, the smaller area and the company own all the hardware. But in a WAN, some of the infrastructure, things like the cables, connection things are hired. Okay, some of the infrastructure is hired. Okay, so what we're doing today is thinking about how people connect to those networks. And there are two main methods of connecting devices in a network. That is using wires, wired, or wireless, without wires. So, wired connections. Okay, when you are using wires in a network, there are two main types of cables that you need to know about. One of them is Ethernet cable. Ethernet cable. This is a standard cable we have in our computer rooms, our classrooms, that goes into the network interface card at the back of the computer. Okay, it used to connect devices in a LAN network, local area network. Inside we have 4 pairs of twisted wires that twisted together to make the signal stronger, to reduce interference. An Ethernet cable uses the Ethernet protocol. So it is a protocol that it uses to send it. Okay? It's cheap, it's easy to use, and it's suitable for a local area network. The other type of cable, which is now being used more and more, things like to bring internet into your house and stuff and faster, is fiber optic. Fiber optic transmits data as light. Ethernet cable sends it electrical signals. Fiber optic transmits it as light. That means it's much faster, higher bandwidth because it can send more data in one go. It doesn't suffer from any interference, so it doesn't need to be wrapped together. There's no interference. And you can send data, you can transmit data over much longer distances without any loss in signal. Where Ethernet cable, there's a limited distance before it starts to lose the signal. Fiber optic, you can send it for a lot longer. But you do need to buy special hardware to connect it to the network, to plug it in. So what's good about it? What's good about wires in general? It is stronger, more reliable signal. So if you're using wired connections for a network, it is stronger, more reliable signal than wireless. However, with wired networks such as Ethernet or fiber optic, you have limited mobility. You can't walk around with it because you're plugged into a cable, so you cannot move around so much. So stronger, better signal, generally faster bandwidth, but you are limited mobility. You can't walk around. Okay, can you find this part of the sheet now? On your sheet, you have not got a bit about fiber optic at the bottom, so can you add in, just put a little subheading there that says fiber optic and add some notes about fiber optic now, please. What is Ethernet? What is fiber optic? And also, what are the main features of wired connections on there? Okay, when you're ready, continue on with the video. Let's check what the answers would be. Okay, so what type of network is Ethernet used on? It's used to connect devices on a LAN, a local area network. How is data sent on the Ethernet? It has 4 pairs of twisted cables. Data is sent using electronic signals through the cable, and it uses the Ethernet protocol. Key features: it's stronger, more reliable signal than wireless, but you have limited movement because you're restricted by a cable. It has to be connected by a cable that you can't move around with. Fiber optic, for your space at the bottom, fiber optic data is transmitted by light. Data is sent by light, much higher bandwidth over long distances, and there is no interference. So the signal quality is not lost. Okay, check your answers, improve, add to it before proceeding. Okay, so we've looked at wired connections. We're now looking at wireless. So wireless just means without wires. Okay, when you are connecting with wireless, you're using the Wi-Fi protocol. The Wi-Fi protocol. and you need to transmit and connect to either, you requires either a WAP, a wireless access point, and each device has to have a network interface card with wireless as well. So you've got a wireless interface NIC with like interface card and a WAP to receive it. Okay, that WAP could be built into something like a router, but generally on our LAN bucket school we have a separate WAP, and it sends data using radio waves. Data is transmitted through the air as radio waves. And remember, there's no cable. So what's good about wireless? Well, it's easy to add more devices. You don't need to plug any cables in, you just connect to the network. It's got a decent range. You can move around between 40 and 100 meters around, but as soon as you go past that, then you start to lose your signal. It's easy to install. No cables to put in to drill holes and things. You simply connect your device using Wi-Fi. And there's no wires, so the user can move around. You can pick up your device and you can move around to a different location as long as you're in range of the wireless access point. However, weaknesses. Security. There is a possibility of being vulnerable to hackers. Hackers could hack into the network because they can just literally connect to the network. Reliability. Wi-Fi can be affected by walls, by obstacles that might be in the way, and by distance. The further you go away from the transmission point, the WAP, the worse your signal is. Or maybe there could be walls between you and the WAP that could block your signal as well. So it can be affected by different things such as walls, obstacles and distance. And also speed. Because it is not using wires, it may not be as fast as wired connections because there may be things that affect the speed in the way. So the speed may not be as fast as wired. Okay, now we've gone over it. Make your notes about wireless. Tell me some things about Wi-Fi, strengths and weaknesses from what we've just done. Don't worry about the Bluetooth section at the bottom. We'll do that in a second. When you're ready, continue on with the video. Okay, strengths. Easy to add more devices. Easy to install, no wires needed. Movement is not limited, users can move around, and there's a good range between 40 and 100 meters. Weaknesses, there are security risks from hackers. Okay, hackers could try to connect in if the network is not password protected or encrypted. Reliability can be affected by walls, obstacles and distance, and the speed might not be as fast as wired connections. Check your answers, add to it before moving on to the final tiny section. Okay, so we've talked about Wi-Fi. There is one other type of wireless connection that you need to know for this exam, and that is Bluetooth. Bluetooth is probably something you know from your phones and things. It is a direct connection between two different devices. For example, connecting your phone to a pair of headphones or connecting your phone to a printer between two devices, Bluetooth. What are the good things? What are the strengths of Bluetooth? It's easy to connect directly. You don't need any wires. You can directly connect. You don't need any switches or network interface cards. You can just connect directly with any other device that supports Bluetooth. It can be used to connect a mobile to things like wearable devices, smartphones, watches, headphones, etc. However, drawbacks, it has low bandwidth, it doesn't transfer very fast, it's very slow to transfer data, and it has a limited range of about 10 meters. As soon as you go further than that, then you would lose connection, about 10 meters. Okay, writing your answers on the sheet. Bluetooth, the last section at the bottom, what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses of Bluetooth? When you're ready, continue on and check. Okay, Bluetooth, easy to connect devices together, no need for a WAP or network interface cards. You can connect mobile and other wearable devices easily. Weaknesses, low bandwidth speed compared to Wi-Fi, and limited range, approximately 10 meters only. Check your answers, add to it before finishing for today. Okay, final thing then, as always, now you've revised the topic, go to revision quiz 8 on LearnCompDean, and same as normal, click check on each question and then try again if the answer is not correct. There will be some questions on wired and wireless connections as well as other previous things we have recapped. Do that now, please. Good luck and see you in lesson.